All right, welcome back to the 80 Star Basketball Channel, the only Star Basketball channel where we still think this guy right here is Steve Taft, and he hasn't told us yet. I'm waiting for him to finally send the email and go, you know what? I collected and loved the 101 because I was in it. Okay, that probably will never happen, but doesn't that look like Steve? Gosh, it's just dead on almost. Anyway, well, it's funny. He probably looked a lot different back then. I guess it is like what are we talking? 40 years now. Yeah, what a week for having Kevin on and doing the auctions. Super glad that he's kind of doing the auctions the way he does them. He's very thorough and goes through a lot of stuff. So I just figured he's doing a better job he could and has done. It's just easily watching him. I like how much he covers. I will still come on and give my assessment of things. Like today is going to be a couple different things. One, we're going to be talking about Sports Card Madness, doing an interview with Adam from Basketball Card Fanatic, which this month, September 2024, has the cover is all the 101. So I have not gotten it yet. I have not had a chance to read it, but I am going to get this issue. And he talks to some of what he says in the interview with them. I'm going to play the full interview, the clip. It's a piece in Sports Cards Madness. They actually cover a bunch of different topics, and this is just one of them they cover with him. So it goes on for about 4 minutes, but I want to get that, and I'll show that in its entirety, and then I'll talk to it a little bit afterwards. So that's going to be the main piece of what today's episode is Adam talking from Basketball Card Fanatic on his issue for the 101. And I just wanted to kind of say, hey, Kevin's doing great, super happy, and he'll keep going with his auctions. But today I'm going to chime in with just kind of my assessments for the past week. It's really weird to be just doing once a week, but right now it's kind of fitting the schedule better too. So we'll see how going forward if I'm going to be having any more episodes that I do and come up with. But I did want to show just 3 auctions ending tonight, and one of them is on and everything's on eBay that I'm about to show you. But there's an 84 star PSA 6. 288. So a 288 going up, it's at 4,500 with 10 hours left. I'm really watching this one just to get more of the price gauge and everything and see where this one ends up. There's a crunch bag, and it's at 3,600 right now. Again, these are all ending. These are all 4 sharp corners is the seller, or the consignment, and that's where these are going to be going for. There's an 8.5. This one also really watching too. This is a for this BGS, we have all 8.5s and one with edges being an 8. So I'm really interested to see where this one ends up as far as kind of gauging an 8.5 and pricing it for the 117. There's another one down here that is going to be ending October 20th, and that one's at 1,400 too. So keeping an eye, that's a Probstein auction, so almost assuredly will end up higher than this one. But this one, I'm trying to get the price gauge. There's a lot less 117s that come up, so when they do come up, I like to make sure I kind of noting the price and watching. There's some others that I'm watching and just interested in to see what happens, but Kevin will probably cover those, and I just wanted to go over the prices for tonight. Also, I kind of just as an overall kind of health check, and I looked at the other rookies, the Hall of Fame rookies, that how are they doing? And as far as pricing, it looks like they've kind of stalled out. Is the like the Elijah 237.84 and the 202 Barkley, those have kind of like they've kind of just stagnated or stayed. But so selling strong, they all kind of went up and they've just kind of staying there. They didn't have any type of major price increases, except for the PSA 8. It seems like some of the high grade ones might, but the PSA 8 Barkley, that without one eclipsing 4,000, I think it was like 4,200 or 4,400, but right around there, it's a strong sale. So PSA 6s and whatnot, they generally are staying around like 800 to 900. So they went up and still solid, but stagnated. And also, just overall price is still softening for the 101. There is one thing I did notice this morning that did want to bring to your attention. It seems like supply is creeping up still. That is one thing that I noticed. We have the new auctions, which Kevin talked about, but I did notice the eBay supply has gone up, and that definitely is there. Still, most things are well over half are kind of out of the normal price range, but there's definitely a supply creep happening that's just sort of trickling up. That is one thing that I did know and did want to share, but we'll see. So overall, kind of price is still softening, but in the switching on over to the last thing, really quick, is one thing. The other thing that I noticed that I'm chasing again. I told you my pivot. I'm still collecting singles here and there, but really I'm kind of after some bags, and I have a project on bags, and that's what I'm going at. Bag supply has dried up. I looked on eBay, and my search results are really pulling in less and less. And I wanted to get to know in the comments of this, if you can add, are you seeing the same thing? Because when I say dried up, it's almost like that same dry up before the 101 took off. And I did ask Nat Turner about 3 weeks ago and emailed him and said, hey, is PSA going to be grading? He said, I can't confirm that. The more I've thought about that, the more I'm thinking that PSA is going to now, because I think it would have been much easier for him to deny it and kind of put it to rest. And he didn't do that. So that is now I'm kind of more thought about it. And I actually had some duplicate bags that I was going to sell. And I'm like now kind of going, maybe I shouldn't. But I did want to share that. That was my assessment. Remember his email, he said, I can't confirm. So that's what I basically said. You guys are going to start grading bags here, and that was his reply, which kind of said, okay, without that solid confirmation, again, it would have been easy for him to say no. I do think that there is going to be a pretty significant price bump on bags when that does happen. When PSA, if you have a PSA graded bag, these are rare items, and I think it is going to be also fairly costly to grade a bag. I don't know what the criteria will be. From what I understand, people would like them to grade the cards on top as well, because obviously they're see-through, so it's not going to be like wax exactly. So we'll see how that plays out. But that is one thing I'm anticipating. That's not the reason I switched over to bags. It has nothing to do with money. It just happens to be that I've always liked wax and unopened product kind of thing. And the fact that these are factory sealed, Star being my favorite thing and factory sealed being my other favorite thing, combine the two and you get bags or packs or whatever you want to call them, see through. They were just a low cost way. They're essentially just low cost wax that you knew what you were getting when you bought these, when you bought Star. So with that, I did want to note that I noticed bag supply. So if anyone else can see the same thing, or if you're seeing the opposite, I looked at, basically was on eBay, and it just has massively dried up on as far as inventory of what I'm seeing. So check that out, and anyone please correct me, or if you're seeing something different, or if you're seeing the same thing. I'd like actually some affirmation too, if I'm not taking crazy pills. But it dried up to the effect that almost like someone's buying things possibly, or several are. So all right, without further ado, I want to show you what here is the interview for Adam from Basketball Card Fanatic on the 101, and I'll speak to it a little bit afterwards.
Z, you got the next
yes.
next topic.
So 1984 Star 101. I know it's just craziness happening right now around this card with the values. And Adam, what is your opinion on the value of this card a year from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now? Just your overall thoughts.
So I have thought a lot about this, like I think most card collectors have over the years. And I actually think that what we've seen over the last year, a couple years, it's been a couple years now since PSA started grading them. I think it's all sort of made sense in terms of like how people have approached it. But what I want to say that I think that a lot of people don't realize is that the story has always been the same. And that is that the Star has always been, and this is actually this is directly from my article in this month's copy of BCF.
It's a nice looking cover.
So ironically, we're talking
Mm.
about this, right?
Yeah.
We didn't plan that, and so it's glad it worked out that way. 1984 Star has always been the more expensive card. It always has. It will always be the most expensive card, in my opinion. Added between that and the Fleer, that's like people are always like, which one do you think is better? And the question to me of which is better, not to like totally like sabotage my article that just came on and tell everybody basically what it's about. But when you say better, I think you can mean numerically two different things. You can say which one head to head is worth more, and you can say which one from a market cap perspective is worth more. The 86 Fleer will always have a higher market cap. It will always. I guarantee it. I mean, I don't guarantee it. I think it will always have a higher market cap because there's so many more copies and it's so much more iconic. But on a head-to-head basis, like the Star will always be worth more. It always has been worth more since we were little kids. And especially in the same grade because, and this is what I like about the Star, because it's so much of a tougher grade, even though they came in bags and so many of those bags were sealed over the years, the fact that they're so off-centered makes it a tough grade. So, what would you rather have? A PSA 9 Star, which is the highest, there's only 3 of those, or a PSA 10 86 Fleer? You want the Star because there's 100 times less of them, like 100 times less. So my friend MK Sports Cards wrote on his Instagram recently something that I basically agree with. He said, in the short term, we're going to see some bubble-like tendencies of this card, but there's not enough of the cards to ever like totally dive. It's not ever going to happen. Is it going to maintain where it's at right now? Is it going to increase? Is it going to, I don't know, but it's going to continue to be one of the most collected cards out there. It is still a top 10 to 12 most iconic basketball card of all time. I think it's a top 10 iconic basketball card of all time. And I think it'll do well along with the market as the years go by, but that doesn't mean we won't see some short-term bubble type stuff going on. And I know that I totally didn't answer your question, but that's sort of what I said.
No, you did. Yeah, I loved kind of that the question that you posed around would you rather a PSA 10 86 or a PSA 9 Star?
It's not close, right?
It got me thinking though. I mean, if you asked me like before we had this conversation, I don't know. I my gut would have been the 10, but like you're pointing out some really good points around it. It's just the pop count is just so much different. It's so much different.
Yeah, it really struck me how rare it was.
Yeah.
I've got a signed one in the wild. I'm really hunting. I'm hoping to get that within a year. And I mean, the answer for me is both. I just want both. I want the 86 Fleer signed, and I want the 84 Star signed, the 101 in particular.
Yeah.
Obviously, not everybody can own both, so you have to make a decision. And it's interesting.
But where you say signed, Nick, this is a really important like caveat to note here. They're both really rare signed. They are.
Yeah.
But if you're just talking about just the card itself, and by the way, I own an 86 Fleer Jordan and I love it. I love it. It's a great card. I'll never sell it. There's a lot of them. There's thousands and thousands of them. And it's so much more plentiful than an 84 Star. And so if you're just looking at the two head to head, it's easy to tell why the Star is worth more individually. But 86 Fleer, most iconic basketball card ever made, and it always will be.
Okay, so my takeaway from that discussion right there was essentially there wasn't any controversial like, hey, pick between the 86 Fleer and the 84 Star, which one's the rookie card. They didn't go there. So as far as price predictions, they did ask him a price prediction, and he kind of basically said, hey, this is always going to be probably going higher. Kind of alluded to that. He said it will never dive. But he said, as far as staying the same or going up, he wasn't sure. But being higher in the future, that's kind of his take on it is kind of like mine. I didn't see the bubble. I didn't expect the bubble from here. There might be some bubbles and some peaks and valleys as the chart slowly climbs. My short-term price prediction is kind of interesting. My short-term price, or kind of within where the could end within a year. And my price predictions always has been a little bit higher than Kevin's. Kevin's a little more conservative. He had a PSA 8 that he sold kind of quickly, I think, but he got, he made a great profit on it. But, it was before the, huge shoot up. And I, kind of still how we view, and that's why I wanted him on also, because it's good to get a second opinion. And his opinion is like, he gives levels as to where things kind of could end. I'm thinking that, I think that the PSA 7 right now this year, kind of a dip in the chart, kind of looking at it, if I'm going to go a price prediction, might be in the short term of, I can't see it going below 40. That one I have a hard time seeing it go under. I would be shocked if it went to 35, but 40 would be a kind of a interesting and a surprise to me. But 45, 40, 45, but anywhere 40 to 50, if it stays here, I wouldn't be surprised either. So really it's going to depend on how things, especially like you could have a 7, just like Adam says in this thing, they're very I love that he pointed out they're so condition sensitive, the centering and everything. That's the other thing about this card. Not only is the pop low, the condition sensitivity is, it's just so high that, and it's so hard to get a solid grade, that those are going to stay, high. He does not see a dive. I do not see a dive. I don't see any of that. And I disagree, that, and I've said, I like Cajun Cardboard, Brian. He and I disagree, and he and I disagree on, like, he's thinking that this is the same thing as, this price shoot up is the same as what happened for, in 2021, in 2021, that jump up in price and then it'll crash. And I don't think that's going to happen. I disagree with that assessment, because also the fundamentals of why it went up in the first place, we, view differently. So it's, those are varying opinions on how this plays out. And going forward, I don't think this falls that much further. Again, I could see the bottom price hitting kind of 40K, but we'll see where things go from here. But on that, they, like I said, that interview, they didn't get too controversial. He basically just said, hey, it's easy to see why the PSA 9 is a lot more, and I agree. There's just too many of the 86 Fleer, and that, again, the perception has changed on this card. So I see further up, if you ask me to own which one, I would easily pick this one. And as far as just price, not even just as rookie status. Remember, I talk about price a lot, actually is mostly for other people. I don't really care, in so many ways that I don't care about the price. I was hoping I get priced out. So it actually works against me when this card goes up. So I will blatantly say again, for like the 15th time, if this goes down to 40, or if it went down to 30, I would actually be happy in a big way. Not that I think it will go there, nor do I, really want it to. But will I be a buyer? I most definitely will. That would price me right back in, and I will be able to go. But currently, I'm looking at things that are bags are my focus, and rare star. So we'll see how things play out. But anyway, I wanted to give my assessment here, and maybe I will be talking to Adam. Oh, hint, in the future. See, I'm going to try and reach out to him and see where we can go. Maybe we can get together and chat. So anyway, hope you liked. And anyway, I will see you at the next video.